What is going on, guys? Joey Franzo here at Flex Training Systems, and today we're breaking down Doohan's meet video. The goal of this meet was to get him to Raw Nationals, and that's exactly what we did. Um, I'm gonna take you guys through some of the conversations we had leading into the competition, and just go through his attempts, talk a little bit about his technique, talk a little bit about his attempt selection, his weight cut, just things that you can definitely use for your meet day. Then a little bit about mentality as well, and then we'll wrap it up. Um, so as you can see, he has a PD light in his hand. We did talk about uh, the weight cut coming into the competition. I believe he was 169 the day before at night. So he had some work to do. So how did we get to that point? I believe he was around 167, normally, and then he had a 2-hour drive. I'm not really sure what happened. But the basically what I gave him for the cut was to essentially put his body in a position to, should he need to sweat, it will just fall off, because he would have done everything right with water. He would have done everything right with sodium. He would not feel, he shouldn't feel too worn down or anything like that. And that's kind of exactly what happened. He told me he did a cut before, and he made it no problem. He had to do some sauna and things like that. So he ended up being a little bit heavier than anticipated, closer to the competition. But he woke up, he hit the sauna, and all his weight. I don't even think he did sauna actually. I think he just spit. I don't remember his weight exactly when he woke up. Actually, if you guys give me 1 second, I could tell you right now. All right, so he ended up waking up at 166, so he has 3 pounds to lose. He's got a couple hours to hit the sauna. I'm not entirely sure what happened to I'm assuming there was something that he ate that was heavier than he thought, or maybe there's a little bit more salt in something, or what. But typically, I would have him be a little bit lighter at this time, but it's okay because, like I said, if you do everything right, you're going to be in a prime position to sweat out whatever you need to sweat out, in order to make weight. And that's exactly what he did. I don't even think he did the sauna because the gym that he was supposed to go to hit the sauna, turns out they didn't have a sauna. So, you know, shout out to Planet Fitness. But yeah, they didn't have a sauna, so he had to sweat on his own. I told him just go to sleep in warm clothes, and you'll be okay. So he woke up, he was 166, and he just started spitting, and I guess he was just chilling in warmth, and he ended up making it. He made it just under what he needed to be at, no problem. He was very calm the entire time. That is a big part of it. You have to remain calm. If you stress out, you're gonna hold more water. Just relax, chill out, execute. Cutting weight is not about. It's not about like that. It's super hard. It's just you have to mentally commit to the process. That's it. Once you commit that you're gonna do it, you're gonna make the weight. So he made the weight. Given that he made weight the way that he did, I anticipate that there's going to be a little bit of, um, you know, just like squats are going to maybe take a little while before his legs get under him. And that's kind of what happened here. He, I believe his first attempt here is 440. He hits that. And then I believe he stuck to the plan. He stuck to the plan, I believe, on all his seconds. Maybe not on deadlift. I'm not sure. Um, but but I mean, you guys will see that right here in a second. You guys can see the full video with his audio and stuff like that, down below. Um, but yeah, 440 coming up here. Takes his time. As you guys notice, his thumbs are not around the bar. Hold up. Let me pause this real quick. His thumbs are not around the bar, and back in the day, that used to be a no-no, but they changed it, and they changed it. I think they edited it to fingers, so you can have your hands the way he has it here. If any judge gives you a problem, go to a higher up, go to a different judge, and just be like, "Yo, tell them what's up." You can hold the bar like this, although I mean, not everyone's gonna be able. I wouldn't recommend it for everyone. You have to be able to prove that it's not going to affect you under, very um, strenuous weight or things like that. The bar's not going to roll or anything. Doohan has very good bar position, and his squats are, I would say, they're very good for his body type. I guess you could say just his leverages are pretty solid. So there's nothing that like kind of stands out to me that I'm like, wow, this is really ugly. We need to fix it. I do believe we widened his stance out a tiny bit, so he's not like having his hips shoot too much. But um, coming into this competition, the goal was for him to qualify. So whenever you have a goal like that, whenever a lifter comes to me and they have a goal like I want to qualify for X meet and it's doable, but we got to be on point. Um, I am going to sort of I'm going to lean more towards setting them up toward for that goal rather than um, just like a regular meet where you just kind of go for PRs or whatnot. So this is his planned second attempt, 463 or 462, whatever. Um, he walks out, just kind of see if there's anything in particular that needs to be explained. I mean, so yes, this was difficult. I believe in training he hit a little bit more than this. But like I said, he did cut weight. It's going to take some time for his legs to get back under him. If you are a big deadlifter, it is very good. It is like beneficial for you to cut for sure because by the time deadlifts come around, you've already reconstituted all that sodium and water and electrolytes and whatnot. So you can pretty much hit what you've been hitting in the gym, no problem. It's almost as if you didn't cut. Almost. It's not the same as not cutting, but it's almost as if you didn't cut. So that was a pretty difficult squat here. Um, I would say I would rate it at a 9 for sure. Oof. I mean, I would only take a very small jump after that or skip, depending on how he felt. But he wanted to take another attempt, and yeah, so he called the audible, right? I had him on the low end third at 474, but you have to call the meet, based on how things are going on the day, and he went against what I had on paper, which is perfectly fine in this situation. I'm never going to argue with you if you want to go down or hit less. Ended up taking 468, which was also very difficult, which is fine. I mean, that's definitely the right number. After taking 210, he went to 212 and a half. Um, and this is just like determination, willpower, everything all the qualities that you need in someone to just mentally fight through a third. It actually looked kind of better. I think he might have been able to squeeze out 474, but in my opinion, it's never worth like sending it on a third. Um, you always want to be safe. Leave 5 pounds in the tank on squat, 10 pounds in the tank, whatever you got to do to hit everything. The stronger you are, I say the more pounds it's okay to leave in the tank because it's a smaller percentage of what you could have hit overall. So yeah, and then his video just kind of goes into him explaining that. Ooh, okay. So he changed from the black and red into the black and white for bench with the singlet, the black and white. I believe that's the SPD singlet, is it? So solid 308 opener here. Everything pretty solid, not too much movement in the hips. On the next attempt, where it's gonna be pretty heavy. I gave him 2 sets of attempts for meet day. Okay, I gave him, like sort of a little bit more aggressive attempts on bench, um, just to get him closer to what is like he's cutting weight. So we're gonna hit an easy opener, then we're gonna take a big jump, then we're gonna take whatever's left, and then I gave him another one that was kind of like you're opening a little heavier, you're taking like a mild jump, and then you're just being safe on your third. That second set of attempts it's really there just to set him up for 336. Like gives him the best possible shot of hitting 336. So I guess he liked my first option better. That's perfectly fine. So he opened 308. He jumped 10 kilos, which is like, I don't really have people do that too much with his strength level on bench, but I'm all about breaking the rules for the better. So he ends up getting this. It's super grindy, but it's up and down. I believe, yeah, I believe he locked it out, but they're gonna give him up and down. He ends up taking it again. I guess he was able to notice some sort of issue or whatever and fix it. So he retakes it. Let me just roll forward. Shout out to the handler. Right here. Roll forward to his third. And this is again, this is mental toughness. This is not giving up. This is, staying in the pocket, like believing in yourself and just making sure that your execution is as flawless as it can be to give you the best possible shot of coming back and taking a lift and blowing it up. He absolutely destroyed this, and you guys are gonna see that he made it look a lot better than what it was previously. His hips are set nice and tight. I'm actually gonna break down his bench in a second here. So yeah, good pause, and then boom, no problem. If that would have moved on a second, he probably could have gone with the plan and jumped a little bit more. But um, I'll take it back to the opener just to get a. Actually, not even the opener. Actually, opener's fine. Okay, so yeah, this is good. So he takes his hand out. Okay, so we're just gonna pause it right here. I want you guys to notice feet placement. Note where the angle of his legs, his shoulder blades are pinned back. He's arching as much as he can. Right, everybody's arch is gonna be different. His grip is set up, whatnot. Wrist wraps are on the joint. Okay, this is very important. You see the bend is right in the middle of the wrist wrap. That's perfect. That's how you want it. That way you're getting a benefit from your wrist wraps by doing this. If your wrist wraps are too low, then maybe it makes your hand numb. I don't know, but you want the wrist wrap to provide stability and reinforce the wrist, so you want to wear it on the joint. You're literally reinforcing the joint, kind of like knee sleeves and whatnot. With the belt, it's a little bit different because your belt is not on a joint unless you want to count like your vertebrae, but it's more so like force transfer. You're transferring power from the ground into the bar. But yeah, that's another video. Anyway, what I tell people is, the way I like to coach it is you open your legs out nice and wide so that the only thing touching the bench is like is basically your glutes. A little bit of your hamstring is on the bench. That way, you don't really have, and you're pushing through the middle of your foot. That way, when you actually like fire up off the chest, there's minimal hip movement. You get your hips out of the way. I always try to say, not always, but I sometimes say, make sure you feel tension on your groin. There is a very very minimal movement, but most of that power is going into the bar, and he's able to push through and lock it out. So I would say this is like a mini version of the way that I do my bench. You can experiment with feet forward and whatnot, but the important thing is that you have your legs out. Some people are gonna get away with their legs right in front of them, but that's hit or miss in my opinion. It's like 70%, 75% chance, and I don't come to meets to be 75%. You know what I mean? I want to hit. If I'm strong enough to hit it, I need to stick with the technique that's gonna allow me to do it. Yes, you can work over time to try to perfect anything, but you know, um, this way of doing it is gonna be perfectly fine for most people. And you see he sets it from the top down, so he gets his shoulder blade set. Then he puts his feet down, then hands on the bar, hand out, breathe, brace. Don't let your air out until you've passed your sticky point. You don't even have to let your air out, honestly. But yeah, so bench pretty good. So now I told him coming into deadlift the day before, because this meet happened when I was asleep because I'm in Los Angeles when this happened. So now it's easy. You just pull in what you need to pull to get your qualifying total. So this opener here, it's either what do we have for an opener here? It's something like 501 ish, 496 I believe. Yeah, 496. So now go for the opening deadlift in a situation like this. You just wanna take your deadlift and get in the meet. Okay, very solid opener. Now he's gonna jump to a heavy weight that's gonna put him in a position to find out how much does he have left in the tank. Okay, if he absolutely blew up his opener, he probably could have just sent it and went to um, whatever the goal number was. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure what this weight is right here. It looks like 430 something. I don't know if he puts it in here anywhere, but um, I believe it's 5 kilos less than what he ends up pulling for his third. And I think he needed to pull 341 ish, 345 ish, something like that. We'll see right here. Let me find it. But yeah, I mean, at this competition, he just showed a lot of tenacity. Okay, yeah, so 340, so 544. Sorry, he showed a lot of tenacity. He showed a lot of just willpower, determination. Um, you know, just like grit. It came down to the absolute wire. He had to give everything. He had to like cap out every lift. It's like you do or die. You're either gonna cap every lift out, or you're going to miss one lift. Like don't leave it all on the platform, and then you don't make it. But he ends up, even though he did miss a bench, he put all of his strength onto the platform, give or take 5 pounds. And I definitely want to break down this deadlift, so I'm gonna break it down here. So okay, he gets his feet set, right? He puts his hands in the bar, he digs the bar into the palm of his hand, and he pulls hooks. So as you can see here, he's kind of adjusting. Now, hook grip is about locking your fingers in, and then don't letting that lock go. Once you're locked in, that's it. You're solid. The bar's not going to go anywhere once it's locked in. Once you do that, if your grip is nice and solid, that is going to allow you to fight through your deadlifts, right? That is going to allow you to hit consistent reps. That is going to allow you to hit consistent singles, whatever. I think a lot of people, it starts from their grip. Their grip is not good, and they blame it on their setup. They blame their setup, their position, your shoulders, bars in front of me, da da da. If you don't have solid grip, you're not going to be able to fight through, and you're going to have like all kinds of shit going on. He's looking very symmetrical here. So he initiates, then he starts to come in a little bit. That's okay. That's the body just looking for power, right? Going to a strong position. Now this is where most people get screwed. One, so leverage is really important. If you have really big legs and you kick the bar out in front of you, it's going to be very difficult to get past the knees. Two, you just kind of lose a little bit of power when you near lockout. Granted, the way does get easier, but it's sort of like it goes hand in hand. You don't have as much I guess power from this position, especially when the bar does get kicked out a little bit because of the thumbs, right? The thumbs have to be on top of the thighs. It's not the bar on the thighs. The bar, unless it's conventional, like your hands are going to be in the way, which clearly they are, or you're one of those people with arms long enough where you're at lockout, your hand is actually below your thigh, which is, I mean, there's only a handful of people that I could think of like that, but they pull a lot because they're just genetically built for it. But he has very solid grip that allows him to fight through and lock out up top. He knows, okay, very solid deadlift. There's no up and down motion, anything like that. Shout out to the hype man in the back. And he gets it. This is what he needed to qualify. He made weight right where he needed to make it. He hit a maximal third squat. He hit a pretty damn maximal bench, and he hit a maximal third deadlift, and he did everything that he needed to do to hit that total that you guys see right here, and that gets him where he needs to go. So overall, I'm very proud of him for coming in, cutting the weight, just having that tenacity, and just executing, listening, communicating, staying calm, which was a huge thing. That is such a huge thing throughout this entire process. It might seem easy, right? It might seem easy. Oh yeah, hit three maxes and cut weight, right? No pressure, no problem, right? It might seem super easy, but I'm telling you right now, it is hard for a lot of people to cut weight, be that heavy, that close to the meat, and stay calm, right? Stay calm the entire time. Go in, hit what you need to hit on squats. Stay calm the entire time. Do that grinder third, right? Go in on bench. Miss the number that you need on bench. Come back and blow it up and smoke it. That right there, I mean, shit. This guy, he's got what it takes. And then on deadlifts, to just execute on everything. I tell him in the beginning, and this is typically what I do with a lot of my lifters, is I'll do little tweaks to technique. If you guys saw Russ recently, we had him sort of widen his stance a tiny bit, raise his belt up a tiny bit, and push his knees out a tiny bit. And it's night and day. Depth is no longer an issue. There's a lot less power that's being lost through hips shooting and things like that. And these are little tweaks that we make. And then once technique is done, we're moving on. We're focusing on RPs. We're focusing on recovery. We're focusing on just executing, just relentless execution from that point. And that's exactly what it is with Doohan. He sends me his videos. I have a little comment here and there, but we're not always changing the technique. You know what I mean? Once you have your technique down, we're not trying to break what isn't that doesn't need to be changed. You know what I mean? Same thing like with my squats. I don't like to think about my squat technique because I don't want to mess up something that I already spent like years and years and years getting to the point where it's at. So, again, Doohan's technique, I think his bench is excellent. I think his squat is excellent. I think his deadlift form, I'm telling you right now, if you don't have all these things in place, you're not going to be able to fight through hit grinders like that, nice and solid. Um, so props to him. I cannot say it enough that he did what he needed to do um, on all fronts, and he got the job done. So very happy with that. Uh, but yeah, man, he hit a 60 something, like it's like an absurd PR, like a million bajillion kilos. Um, Actually, you know what? Let me go check. Okay, so I he actually did better than I thought. Um, so his raw nets total was really low. Uh, he had hit a 1278 total um, last July. I believe he had an injury or something he was dealing with around the Nationals time. So this PR isn't from Nationals. It's from like his best meet ever. Nationals was not his best meet ever, but he was able to hit a 66. I believe it's a 66-pound PR total. Um, Overall lifetime. So shit, man. There you go. He's not injured. He's ready to go. And that's what happens when you can train consistently over time without injuries, right? That's one of the main things. Maybe you could train a little bit harder and get a little bit faster progress, but injuries are going to happen and you're going to end up being worse than like it's not slow and steady wins the race. It's like pretty fast but not too fast wins the race. And smart. That's the key thing, being smart about it. But yeah, Duhan, I'm really proud of you. Everybody, if you made it this far, shit, let me get a shout. Let me get a hashtag shout to Duhan. Hashtag shouts to Duhan. Hashtag Doohan, hashtag whatever, something with Doohan down below. Hashtag the God Editor down below. I hope you guys are able to take something away from this video. Links to Doohan's channel down below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.